Introducing Sci Hitrust, one of the services of Star Certification International. Before introducing what exactly Sci Hitrust is, let us first see the various pressure businesses face and why Sci Hitrust is important. Businesses face increased management accountability, increased compliance costs, globalization, and multiple risks. For better business security, good governance like the following were introduced. Legislative and mandated requirements, such as SOX, HIPAA, PCI DSS and NIST. External and non-mandated requirements, such as ISO 27001, Sci Hitrust and COBIT. Internal requirements, such as SAS 70, internal SLAs, business continuity and customer requirements. ISO 27001 is about information security under explicit management control. PCI DSS prevents credit card fraud through increased controls around data and its exposure to compromise. SOX is to established corporate governance standards for public companies. High-tech is for information security requirements with respect to the healthcare information systems and exchanges. It establishes a certifiable framework that can be used by any and all organizations that create, access, store or exchange personal health and financial information. Most of the organization current state of governance, risk and compliance process is disorganized, unnecessarily complex and fragmented. Sci Hitrust is required to minimize the increased risk to healthcare data. Monitor increased use of technology which is changing every day. Satisfy the increased concern from consumers and comply to the implementation of existing standards. Sci Hitrust Common Security Framework unifies all targeted frameworks and standards relevant to healthcare and a core pillar of the broad adoption of health information systems and exchanges. CSFA provides organizations with the needed structure, detail and clarity relating to information security tailored to the healthcare industry. About Sci Hitrust. Sci Hitrust is a certifiable framework founded in 2007. Sci Hitrust Alliance is a not-for-profit organization whose mission is to champion programs that safeguard sensitive information and manage information risk for organizations across all industries and throughout the third-party supply chain. Sci Hitrust actively participates in many efforts in government advocacy, community building and cybersecurity education. Sci Hitrust is led by a seasoned management team. These leadership is ensuring the framework meets the short and long-term needs of the industry. Sci Hitrust believes that the best way to promote confidence in the security of electronic health information is for those who actually use technology to create, access, store and exchange electronic health information to create a common security framework to protect that information. Sci Hitrust brings together major organizations from across the healthcare and employer spectrum that are dedicated to creating the first common security framework for the protection of sensitive health information. Sci Hitrust Common Security Framework is a viable alternative to developing a custom framework. Unifies all targeted frameworks and standards relevant to healthcare, and to control practices tailored to the healthcare environment. Sci Hitrust is based on ISO 27001. Integrates HIPAA, HIT, NIST, PCI DSS, Federal Trade Commission, COBIT and state laws. It is a list of common elements in one framework where multiple standards involved to provide a path for continuous improvement. types of high-trust CSF assessments: a self-assessment and validated assessment. The high-trust CSF assurance methodology is used and the controls are scored accordingly. If the high-trust CSF assessments meets or exceeds the current high-trust CSF assurance scoring requirements for certification will be indicated as high-trust CSF certified on the certification report. Control framework covers identify risks and define protection requirements, specify controls, implement and manage controls, assess and report. And CSF components includes control categories, based on ISO 27001, 14 control categories, 13 security/1 privacy. And control objectives are outcome or risk reduction with 46 control objectives and 149 implementation requirements with evidences. Scoring of implementation is verifying policy, process and its implementation status by measured results managed to ensure corrective actions. Assessment methods are self-assessment, validated assessment, SOC 2 plus high trust, and SOC 2 plus high trust certification. Cost of my CSF tool depends upon business operation and organization's annual revenue, which is directly paid to High Trust. Steps in high trust compliance. First, we need to understand management expectations, regulatory requirements, contractual obligations and expectations from internal stakeholders, customers and business partners around the scope of the assessment. Then, tailor the high trust CSF using the MyCSF tool to generate the controls and requirements needed to address its obligations. Then, execute a self-assessment against those requirements to understand where gaps may exist within the environment and determine how much remedy is needed. Then address the gaps in implementation and validate the corrective actions. Execute a validated assessment which requires engaging with a CSF-approved assessor. Complete the validated assessment using the MyCSF tool. And then the CSF-approved assessor will perform the validation or audit work. Once the CSF-approved assessor review is complete, they will submit it to High Trust for review. High Trust will create a High Trust CSF assessment report and, depending on the assessment scores, High Trust CSF certification letter. High Trust mapping. Task 1. Review of firewall rule sets and network infrastructure satisfy the high trust requirements such as segregation in networks, network connection control, network routing control, network controls. Task 2. Review of asset inventory through port scanning or existing scans satisfy the high trust requirements such as equipment identification in networks and inventory of assets. Task 3. Identify FE data stored and protection, encryption capabilities from an endpoint, infrastructure and mobile device satisfy the high trust requirements such as mobile computing and communications, teleworking, policy on the use of cryptographic controls, and key management. Task 4. Identify FE data transmitted and stored satisfy the high trust requirements such as sensitive system isolation. Task 5. Perform user administration, access control and password management review satisfy the high trust requirements such as user registration, privilege management, user password management, review of user access rights, Password use, user authentication for external connections, user identification, and authentication, password management system, information access restriction, roles and responsibilities and removal of access rights. Task 6, perform logging, monitoring, intrusion detection and file integrity monitoring review. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as audit logging, monitoring system use, protection of log information and clock synchronization. Task 7, perform configuration and vulnerability reviews and review related patch management, application security processes. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as controls against malicious code, security of network services, input data validation, outsourced software development, control of technical vulnerabilities. Task 8. Information Security Program, Training, HR, Policy and Procedure Reviews. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as ISM Program, Access Control Policy, Clear Desk, and Clear Screen Policy, Policy on Use of Network Services, Management Responsibilities, Information Security Awareness, Education, and Training, Disciplinary Process, Information Security Policy Document, Review of the Information Security Policy, Management Commitments to Information Security, Information Security Coordination, Prevention of Misuse of Information Assets, Compliance with Security Policies and Standards, Acceptable Use of Assets, Segregation of Duties and Information Exchange Policies and Procedures. Task 9. Physical Security Review of Facilities, Documents and Media. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as unattended user equipment, documents and media, physical entry controls, protecting against external and environmental threats, equipment maintenance, secure disposal or reuse of equipment, management of removable media, disposal of media and information handling procedures. Task 11. Privacy Review. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as data protection and privacy of covered information. Task 12. BCP, Doctor Review. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as developing and implementing continuity plans including information security, business continuity planning framework, and testing, maintaining and reassessing business continuity plans. Task 13. Incident Detection, Response and Management Review. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as reporting information security events, management review and responsibilities and procedures. Task 14. Risk Management Review. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as risk management program development, performing risk assessments, and risk mitigation. Task 15. Review of service delivery and deployment of new applications. Satisfy the high trust requirements such as service delivery, deployment of new applications, and control of operational software. Our value proposition. We are specialized in management audits for information security, quality, business continuity, IT service, risk and safety management with in-depth experience around governance and risk consulting frameworks. Some of our core solution offerings are risk management, IT security audits, third-party risk management, and network assessments. Experienced resources who can give value added for IT audit and security domain and have worked on multiple security and compliance assignments. They possess technical certifications such as CISP, CISA, CISM, SE and are aware of various regulatory compliance requirements such as SOX, ISO 27001, ISO 20001, ISO 22301, High Trust. Our partners for High Trust for the year 2017 to 2018 are Alcumus. Control Case. EC First. MA Labs. History of our success. More than 90% of our clients reach us for their compliance requirements. Our professional team members are well trained. We service clients all over the globe. High Trust Assessor Organization. We are the fastest growing high trust advisor and implementer organization in India. We have a large pool of team with information security experience along with specialized certifications such as CIA, CISP, CISA, CFE, CE and ISO 27001. Thank you for the opportunity to present High Trust to you. Please feel free to contact us if you need more details.